Deuteronomy chapter 33, blessing upon Israel. This is the blessing that Moses gave to the children of Israel before he died. He said, "The Lord came from Sinai, he dawned over his people from Seir. He shone forth from Mount Paran, he came from Meribah Kadesh for them. His midday radiance has reached foothills. The Lord indeed loves these tribes, and all the holy ones are in his hand. They bow before his feet. He supports them with his guidance. Moses enjoined the law now. It is the heritage of the assembly of Jacob. Then a king came forth from Jeshurun, when the leaders of the people assembled, and the tribes of Israel gathered as one community. May Reuben live and not die, even though his numbers are small. And this he said of Judah, Listen, O Lord, to the voice of Judah, and bring him back to his people. His hands champion his cause and will help him against his opponents. He said of Levi, You entrusted to Levi your Thummim, your Urim, to the one who enjoyed your favor. You tested him at Massah and proved him faithful at the waters of Meribah. He said of his parents, I do not know them. He disowned his brothers and sisters and did not acknowledge his own children. They have observed your instructions and kept your covenant. They teach Jacob your norms and Israel your law. They offer you incense in your presence and present whole burnt offerings on your altar. Bless, O Lord, his courage and be pleased with his service. Smash the power of his foes that his enemies may not attack him. He said of Benjamin, Beloved of the Lord, you dwell secure as you lean on him. He protects you all day long as you dwell among his hills. He said of Joseph, Your land has been blessed by the Lord with the choicest gifts of the heavens above, and with springs that gush out from below, with the choicest of sun-ripened fruits and the choicest produce of the seasons, the best yield of the ancient mountains, the choicest produce of the everlasting hills, the choicest produce of the earth and its abundance, and the favor of him who dwells in the bush, descend upon the head of Joseph, on the forehead of the consecrated ruler of his brothers. In glory he is like a firstborn bull, his horns are those of a wild bull. With them he calls the people, even those at the ends of the earth. Such are the myriads of Ephraim, such are the thousands of Manasseh. He said to Zebulun, Rejoice, Zebulun, in all your pursuits. Rejoice, Issachar, in your tents. They call the peoples to the sacred mountain, and there they offer prescribed sacrifices. They enjoy the riches of the sea and the hidden treasures of the sand. He said of Gad, Blessed be he who enlarges Gad. He couches there like a lioness that tears the arm and head of the prey. He chooses the best part, the part reserved for the leader. He has led the people, has fulfilled the justice of the Lord, and his decisions in favor of Israel. He said of Dan, Dan is a lion's calf that leaps forth from Bashan. He said of Naphtali, Naphtali is sated with favors, filled with the blessing of the Lord. May your land extend to the south and to the west. He said of Asher, May Asher be blessed above all the sons. May he be preferred to all his brothers, and let him put his feet in oil. May his fastening bars be of iron and bronze. May you be strong as long as you live. There is none like the God of Jeshurun, who rides through the heavens to help you, and in his majesty he rides on the clouds. The eternal God is a refuge. He frees you with his arm. He drives your enemy away before you and says to you, Exterminate him. Israel dwells in safety. The fountain of Jacob flows in the land of grain and wine. There his heavens drop down dew. Happy are you, O Israel, who is like you, a people saved by the Lord. He is the shield that protects you, the sword that gives you victory. Your enemies shall try to lead you astray, but you shall trample on their backs. Deuteronomy chapter 34, Death and Burial of Moses. From the plains of Moab, Moses went up to Mount Nebo to the summit of Pisgah opposite Jericho. And the Lord showed him all the land from Gilead to Dan, the whole of Naphtali, the land of Ephraim and of Manasseh, the whole land of Judah as far as the western sea, the Negeb and the region of the valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees as far as Zoar. And the Lord said to him, This is the land about which I swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, To your descendants I shall give it. I have let you see it with your own eyes, but you shall not cross over to it. Moses, the servant of the Lord, died in the land of Moab, according to the command of the Lord. He buried him in the valley of the land of Moab, opposite Beth Peor. But to this very day no one knows where his tomb is. Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eyes did not grow dim, nor did his vigor leave him. The people of Israel mourned for Moses in the plains of Moab for 30 days. Then the days of weeping and mourning for Moses came to an end. But Joshua son of Nun was filled with the spirit of wisdom, because Moses had laid his hands upon him. The people of Israel obeyed him and did as the Lord had commanded Moses. Since then, no prophet like Moses had ever appeared in Israel. The Lord conversed with him face to face. What signs and portents the Lord commissioned him to perform in the land of Egypt against Pharaoh, against his officials and his whole land. What a powerful hand was this that performed these mighty and terrifying deeds in the sight of all Israel. Psalm chapter 87, the city of God. On the holy mountain stands the city he built. The Lord loves the gates of Zion more than all of Jacob's town. Glorious things are told of you, O city of God. I will include Egypt and Babylon among those who acknowledge me. It is said of Philistia, Tyre, and Ethiopia, So and so was born there, but of Zion it shall be said, Everyone was born in her, for the Most High himself has established her. The Lord notes in the register of the peoples, This one was born in Zion, and they will dance and sing, saying, My home is within you. Luke chapter 4 verse 31 to 44. With the power of the Spirit, Jesus went down to Capernaum, a town of Galilee, and began teaching the people at the Sabbath meetings. They were astonished at the way he taught them, for he spoke with authority. In the synagogue there was a man possessed by an evil spirit, and he shouted out with a loud voice, What do you want with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are. You are the Holy One of God. Then Jesus rebuked him and said, Be silent and leave this man. The evil spirit then threw the man down in front of them and came out of him without doing him any harm. Amazement seized all the people, and they said to one another, What does this mean? He commands the evil spirits with authority and power, and see how they come out. And news about Jesus spread throughout the surrounding area. Leaving the synagogue, Jesus went to the house of Simon, whose mother-in-law was suffering from a high fever. They asked him to do something for her. Standing beside her, he rebuked the fever, and he left her. Immediately she got up and waited on them. At sunset, people suffering from many kinds of sickness were brought to Jesus. Laying his hands on each of them, he healed them. He also drove out demons, and who cried out as they went from the victims, You are the Son of God. He rebuked them and would not allow them to speak, for they knew he was the Messiah. Jesus left the town at daybreak and went out into a solitary place. People went out in search of him, and finding him, they tried to dissuade him from leaving them, but he said, I have to go to other towns also to announce the good news of the kingdom of God. That is what I was sent to do. So Jesus continued to preach in the synagogues of Judea.